Hey everybody, welcome again to Just for Fun Games. I'm your boy Azzy, that's Roy. Today we're going to be talking about DC Fandome, some Marvel delays, the Uncharted trailer just dropped, and Nintendo Online BS. Not to mention just checking up in what we're doing. Okay, see you in a sec.
Oh, you were ready to just go ahead and give me the the story to tell. All right, yeah.
Oh no, I'm just saying it's like we exist in the world of editing. We don't have to wait for the intro to play. So by all means, roll right into it.
I mean, you want to talk about stories over the weekend? Remember when we were talking about what you were going to come up here for? Like, should I come up there for Eternals or Ghostbusters? And we were talking about how my girlfriend hasn't seen the original Ghostbusters. So over the weekend, we watched the original Ghostbusters. And she said it was
on.
She said, let me freeze frame now. There you go. She said it was okay, but I prefer the all-female Ghostbusters.
I mean,
now
comedy is subjective.
Granted, I let her have it. I let her have it because it is an old movie. Some of the comedy, maybe not in her boat, but
yeah, we're very much seeing the movie through nostalgic glasses. Maybe she's kind of like my sister and my father, who think Bright is an amazing movie.
Right?
Yeah, I know.
But
I know.
Other than that, I'm about to say I'm not gonna be like crucified. This is not something like I'm in this relationship because of this. No, nothing like that. But it was like a punch in the chest. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll let you have it. 2016 or I don't even remember what year that movie came out. I'll let you have it. Okay. 2018.
There's no Ghostbusters. You're talking about the all-female Ghostbusters,
yeah.
Or are you talking about the original Ghostbusters?
No, the original came out in 1984. I got that down pat.
1986.
You sure? I thought it was 84.
The original one came out in 1986, was it?
I'm pretty sure the first Ghostbusters came out in 1984. Hold on. I don't know what's going on with OBS over here. Everything's freezing. Why? I don't know why it's doing this now. Hold on. Everything. I got to keep up.
Oh, Discord. No. Go ahead.
Okay. So, all right. Yeah, you're doing the research.
No, you got it.
You're doing research now because apparently my computer likes to, every time I get off of OBS, it wants to freeze. So I freeze and you freeze at the same time. So anyway, another fun.
We all freeze for ice freeze.
So another fun story over the weekend. You like eggnog?
Actually, no, I don't.
Okay. Well, I just dabbled into
cancel the show. Fuck this shit.
So I dabbled into the eggnog that is made by the same people who make my Fireball whiskey. So I'm like, okay, the eggnog doesn't have the whiskey in it already. It's just the mix, just straight eggnog.
No, I understand.
But so yeah, I got a little bit of this eggnog, and I tried it straight first before mixing it in whiskey. I'm like, oh man, shit bomb. I don't drink eggnog. Granted, never cared for eggnog. That's something I'm like, ugh, So I learned a harsh reality. I'm like drinking this shit straight. I'm drinking I'm not talking about like shot glasses or glasses like this. I'm drinking like big boy glasses of eggnog like this. And learn some lessons. Learn some lessons.
We're not even in the season of eggnog yet, man. Hey, we're still in pumpkin spice season.
Hey man, whatever. But I'm gonna tell you. Do not do that. But I had like 2 glass. I had it was so good. I brought it to work. I was like, yo, I'm drinking this on my breaks and everything. I'm at work and my stomach is doing my stomach is basically Caesar from Planet of the Apes, and my stomach was like, no. And yo, that fucked my stomach up. And I mean, legit, I had to stop working. I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And Like like I don't have a water bottle, but that's how my shit came out. It was just
I'm saying maybe you should like cut from that one YouTube series that you and Esau showed me with like the puppet that had diarrhea.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that, but God. I mean, it was all I can say. It was delicious. It was delicious, but was it worth it?
All right, that bit of a diversion aside, let's
Yeah.
go ahead and get back. Let's go ahead and get into the topics of the day. So DC fandom happened pretty recently. We are only getting to it now, so do apologize. But a whole bunch of things were announced. Like there was a bunch of game announcements, trailers for new shows and new movies. Rory, what'd you think about the showing, man? I mean, they were building this up for a while, and what we got were mostly teasers when it comes to like the cinematic side of things.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the games, the first one being Gotham Knights. I don't know about that one. That one's a little bit skeptical. We saw gameplay, I think, was it last year for it? But
I feel like that was in 2019. I feel like 2020 was a black hole. I really can't remember.
It was 2020. I think it was 2020, or was it 2019? I can't remember.
We don't really count 2020 for much of anything.
Yeah,
we existed that entire period.
I think we just had a blackout. But yeah, Gotham Knights having, I think it was 4-player co-op with Batgirl, Red Hood, Robin, and Nightwing.
But I think it's 2-player co-op.
Is it 2-player? I thought it was 4-player co-op.
You could pick from 4 characters, but if I remember correctly, it's only a 2-player co-op game. I might be wrong. I prefer a 4-player co-op game. I prefer to play as Damian Wayne. When's he going to be announced as DLC? Hit me up.
I mean, it could be wrong, but anyway, they're growing up. I think Bruce Wayne is dead, so no more Batman, and they're going up against the Court of Owls. And I mean, from the trailer that I got playing in the background, it's pretty dark, pretty scary looking. I highly doubt that's going to be like the game, but I don't know.
The Court of Owls were.
Go ahead.
The Court of Owls were introduced when I was actually following Batman comics. Another reason why I feel like it's weird that they didn't include Damian Wayne into this game. He's the son of Batman, and that was around the time period that, like, it was during his era in the comics, his like tenure as the titular Robin, that the Court of Owls were introduced. The Talons, which are the elite like assassin force of the Court of Owls, attempt to recruit him at one point because of the friction that he had with his dad. But they are a very interesting, like underground syndicate, like Illuminati type group behind Gotham. And what made them scary was the moment they popped up on the scene, they immediately just manhandle Batman. Like the whole idea is that owls hunt bats; they're their natural predator. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. He couldn't exactly handle that in the typical way that he would handle any other villain. So that was what made it interesting. What I'm confused by is that when they initially showed off the game, they introduced the narrative that Bruce Wayne was dead, and then they showed off a section of the game or a mission where 2 players were handling Mr. Freeze. So I'm just kind of curious: is the main plot of the game about the Court of Owls, or the Court of Owls just another villain that's in the game like Mr. Freeze?
I think they're just gonna be the main villain in this. I mean, I say, you're the comic guy as far as I'm concerned. Me and the Court of Owls, that's like one of the things I haven't read up on the like Batman universe and stuff. So, I mean, like I said,
this is supposed to be like inspired from the Arkham series. It's not connected.
Well, I thought the we'll talk about it in a minute. But yeah, like this game, it's like hard for me to get into, even though I'm into like the whole Arkham like series, Arkham Asylum, City, and Knight, which I kind of want to play Arkham Knight tonight since that's the one I haven't beaten yet. And I don't know. Well, you over there like your backlog games.
No, I agree. I did finish Arkham Knight. And the biggest issue is that like because each of the Arkham games compounds upon the other, it feels like if you really want to go back and play it, you need to start from the beginning. So I did start from the beginning. I was back in Arkham Asylum and I was playing through that, and I got distracted by something new. I still haven't gone back to finish it.
That's what
And then I
always
had to jump
happens.
to City and then get to Night.
And that's what always happens, man. But
Yeah,
so yeah, next up being Suicide Squad kills the Justice League.
I am very excited about that one.
Yes,
I'm a big fan of cooperative, of minimum 4 players cooperative action titles. Like
so this
going
one
all the
is
way back
4-player
to.
co-op.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
That's why I'm like, it's kind of weird. I was like, we got 2 Batman games that have 4-player co-op. If Arkham Knight is too, but I can guarantee this one is definitely 4.
Oh yeah, I'm quite confident it's 4. I imagine in a very Streets of Rage sort of way. And not that the gameplay is going to be comparable to each other, but
well, we
we're
still
going to
haven't
get some more
seen
characters.
we still haven't seen actual gameplay footage of Suicide Squad. Right now, what we're seeing on screen is actually they're like cinematics of in game.
Oh yeah.
So we still don't know how this plays. Is it going to be just like Arkham Knight? You know,
you're right.
A couple dab punches and then, or is it going to play like a third-person shooter or anything like that?
Not sure. Not sure. All I know is that I've already called King Shark. Just like Nanawe, get off the phone, bird.
Yeah, you know who I'm going for. You already know.
Oh, of course. You and George.
Oh, what? We gonna be fighting for Harley Quinn?
Basically, are you kidding me?
I mean, if he wants to run with Harley Quinn, I'm cool with that, man. I'll go ahead and I'll take Deadshot.
All right. Nonetheless, I just like it's a premise that it just feels too difficult to mess up. But it all boils down to the gameplay, and we haven't yet seen it.
I mean, the story, like just from the cinematics here, it looks really good. You know, of course, Brainiac's involved.
It's not like it has. It's not like it hasn't happened in the comics in the past. It's a great justification to make the Justice League the bad guys without making the player feel like they're playing as the villain.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of interested in, because
it's
like
it's a have your cake and eat it too sort of situation.
Yeah, we're finally going up against the heroes that we know and love, and in the trailer here, obviously, you see Wonder Woman's in this trailer, but it doesn't look like she's been taken over by Brainiac, because there's some scenes where Superman is fighting her in this, and there's also a little tease of Poison Ivy being back in here. So, and we see Penguin right here getting shocked. So, I mean, the comedy's gonna be there, so I can't wait.
Best version of Poison Ivy is in the Harley Quinn show. If you haven't seen it on HBO, it's my new favorite version of Poison Ivy is that one.
All I remember from the show was like the beginning when they were on the boat having that party and that people were getting blown up or some stuff. Like I was like, holy shit, this is a graphic show. This is not like the animated series, but I love it.
It's what you would expect from like Adult Swim. It's definitely adult animation. But that was it was kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was basically all we got as far as video games were concerned, and then it rolled straight into teaser after teaser of the properties that feel like they've been in development for 5 years. Yeah, like each of them feel like they've been in development forever.
So first one we got is Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I think that's what it's called, Fury of the Gods.
Yep. They have, now correct me. Oh shoot. Honestly, I wasn't really paying attention to Shazam. While I thought it was a fun movie, I didn't think it was.
You didn't like that movie? I thought it was great. It wasn't a movie, like I said, when Shazam first came out, it's like one of those DC movies. I'm like, I don't care. I feel like they're gonna make money. Went to go take Isaac to see it, and I was surprised with it. I didn't know it was gonna be like that dark in the beginning. Like, they were actually killing people. I was like, I'm looking over at Isaac like, well, you know, he's
I
gonna
do
be
think it's
okay with
interesting that
this.
it's gonna have. Oh no, I do think it's interesting that they're gonna have Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu as the villains. That's cool. That's cool. Because it was the villain that really dragged down the Shazam movie for me. It was a lot of fun. It's just like for all the people, for all the times I excused bad villains in MCU movies, and all the times that people complain about bad villains in the MCU movies, I was kind of channeling their energy in Shazam because the villain was just that bad. They played
What?
it up that it was like the seven deadly sins. Hear me out. Hear me out. They played up the release of the seven deadly sins and utilizing them as like a part of the main antagonist's repertoire, and they each boiled down to just the same monster, just different looks.
Hmm.
It's like these are the embodiments of the seven deadly sins. It's like you can't boil them down to like just gray, blobbish CGI monsters. Each one of them would have a different kind of effect on people just by their presence. Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I can't wait from just that little teaser we got. And that's not even a trailer. That's just like behind the scenes stuff.
No, I get that.
I'm interested in it.
But you can't not acknowledge that it's in the shadow of what is probably going to be just the better property. Black Adam is right there.
Yeah, I got the Black Adam trailer rolling in the background. Yeah, this one, like I said, you're the comic book guy. I just collect comics. Okay, I'm like, ooh, I like the cover.
You read them. He has a box full of comics he has not touched.
I got comics I haven't read yet. But
picking up comics.
Picking
up comics like James Woods and Reese's Pieces. Ooh,
but this Black Adam trailer, I was getting like Mortal Kombat Raiden vibes off of this. So like he grabbed that first dude, which we're about to see right now, and he makes him into dust. I'm like,
yeah.
So, Rock
he
as
was
an
referenced.
actor,
He was referenced he was referenced in the Shazam movie, and
he was.
Well, I'm not condoning what Dave Bautista said about him being a better actor than The Rock. Dwayne Johnson brings not only his chemistry but his energy to a property. You tend to want to see it no matter what. He's in that Ryan Reynolds class of celebrities. Not only can he resurrect franchises from the dead, but he tends to be the element that saves a movie. And it's not like he's the only one. We got there's a bunch of different actors that are going to be in this. Pierce Brosnan is going to be Dr. Fate, which is the DC version of Doctor Strange. And this is essentially going to be Infinity War, where it's a villain origin story, no matter how many times Dwayne tries to say that he's not a villain. It's like,
you're the bad guy, man. You playing
he's the bad guy, dude.
You're playing the bad guy, but I'm interested. Like I said, most of these characters, if it ain't Batman, I don't know who the hell it is, But I'm interested because of what Shazam pretty much set up. Is like there were the hints of him in the first movie and how he fucked up. So seeing this, better be good. That's all I can say. So next up, I apologize, but I don't really care for the Flash. only care about like as far as like Flash storyline that I enjoyed was Flashpoint, which was really good. If you haven't seen it or read the comics, go ahead and do that. But this movie right here, they bringing back Michael Keaton, the original Batman. Well, he ain't the original, but the Batman we grew up with. So
our original. Okay. And here's the thing. And this might get me some hate. The Flashpoint is the Phoenix Saga of DC Comics, and everyone wants to adapt it, and it doesn't always land right. Most times it doesn't. The animated Flashpoint, I think, was really good, and with this one, we're going to get to see Michael Keaton playing a very different Batman than what you would expect, which is great because then you can contrast it against the Batman that we're going to be getting. what I was surprised by was that in this teaser there were multiple flashes. That's not that's not from any version of Flashpoint that I'd ever seen. But yeah, I have to echo your sentiment about the animated Flashpoint movie. It was really good, and I also highly recommend people go and check it out. With this one, I'm not sure. I mean,
come on, man! You got Michael Keaton, Supergirl's in
no,
this.
no, no. But
Another Barry Allen is in this.
Well, what I'm saying is that the Flash was honestly very standout for me in the Snyder Cut. It was actually one of the like they did him so well in the Snyder Cut. It was one of the more redeeming qualities of the movie for me. So I'm interested, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I really just want to see the end product. I can't say that I'm hyped for it. That's basically it. I'm interested, just not hyped yet. I'm being reserved. I can control myself.
Yeah. So finally,
the thing everybody was talking about.
You know, I watched this damn trailer like I don't know how many times over the course of the weekend. Because, granted, you know, Azzy over here being so damn impatient, we can't get a reaction video going because he likes to watch all the trailers before I get to see them. So he's like, "Oh yeah, my bad, I didn't get to do a reaction because I already watched it." So we got the Batman trailer. Whew. It's probably my most excited film for next year. It comes out in March. It comes out so early in the year. I'm gonna see this movie. I don't know how many times.
But it's not the cinematic graveyard. It's not January or February. So that's saying something at the very least.
Yeah.
March is fine. March is fine. If it's being released in those first 2 months, then we know that something went horribly wrong. But yeah, no, man. The thing that they haven't, that no movie has been able to capture about Batman is the detective side of things. He tends to solve problems in most of his movies. He tends to solve problems very quickly, and you never get to see those moments of contemplation or when he's trying to piece things together, or he just happens to pull a bit of technology out of his ass, and that technology solves the problem for him, or he gets something from Lucius Fox. I don't like the Nolan movies. Anyway, but I'm very interested in this movie. Like, we have a very thought-heavy villain with the Riddler, and like the emoist Bruce Wayne I think we've ever seen.
I don't care what happens to me. Like, damn.
I've been hearing stories about how like Robert Pattinson didn't want to have to put like undergo like the typical
workout, get buff and stuff.
Workout routine in order to get because he didn't feel like it was necessary, and that it's been proven countless times that it's not necessary because fans will accept what they see as long as it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And I can appreciate that. Like, Robert Pattinson's been doing a lot of work to drag himself from out of the shadow of the Twilight series, and
he's done a lot of other movies out after Twilight that were pretty good. Like, I mean, granted, I ain't seen all of them, but I saw the Lighthouse, and that one was just fucking weird, But he did it. He did a good job. I respect him as an actor. I mean, you got to start somewhere. So he's first movie I saw him in was Harry Potter, Cedric Diggory or whatever we gonna call him.
He's dead.
He's dead. But
he's
yeah.
Dead.
So I can't wait for this movie to come out. It's got that nice dark gritty Batman feel that it finally is. Like, the Nolan universe of Batman was okay, but it wasn't too dark. This one looks like this movie is not rated R.
Can it break the Batman? Can it break the Batman movie curse though?
What do you mean?
Can it only focus on one villain? Every fucking Batman movie splits the attention between two villains that require more time.
You got Penguin in there.
Damn it! But wait, hold on. But is he in the movie? There's a difference. Is he in the movie for about like 10 minutes and then he's gone, or are they splitting the attention between these two antagonists when we don't have enough time for that. It's like, think about it, man. I mean, you got Penguin and Catwoman, and then you got Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. In the Nolan movies, you had
Scarecrow and Ra's al
Scarecrow
Ghul.
and Ra's al Ghul, and then you had Joker and Two-Face, Catwoman and Bane. It's like these are great villains that can hold the movie all on their own. Like, I'm watching The Long Halloween at the moment, and like while other villains are making appearances, it's focused on the one villain that matters. Like, that's what you gotta do. I like, this is the movie. Like, I'm interested. Like I said, I was interested in the Flash. This is the movie from DC Fandom that I am absolutely hyped. That I don't need any more evidence. Yeah, definitely. I'll be right there next to you.
All right. March.
But that wasn't. I mean, getting away from DC Fandom because it's been a bit, and things tend to come out when we drag our feet. There's another movie that I couldn't wait to watch the trailer for in order to get a reaction. I'm just going to out myself so you don't have to like drag me across the coals. Today, we got the Uncharted trailer, a movie that has been in development hell, where Mark Wahlberg has gone from no mustache to no mustache again. But we finally have a trailer.
What did you think?
What did you think about it, Roy?
Spider-Man Tomb Raider? That's what I'm getting. I mean, granted, I've like, as far as me playing the Uncharted franchise, I played 1 and 2. Played a bit of 3, still trying to knock out 4, and now this remastered collection of 4 and Lost Legacy coming out. It's not something I'm interested in playing it back again, but I got to get through the other games. And as far as
the movie,
I'm about to get there. Let me finish. This movie, like, I was never interested in this character. You know, I'm granted, yes, the franchise has been successful. And looking at the movie, it's like young Indiana Jones. It's not pulling me in. Like, I'm like, I should be excited for this. It's got Tom Holland in it, you know, and I can see they're like trying to recreate Uncharted 3's little airplane sequence.
And, here's the confusion that I see a lot of people getting online, is that it's not, for one, some people think that it's a prequel to the games. It's not. It is literally adapting the story from Uncharted 3, where in that game, it begins showing when Nathan Drake first meets Sully, you know, his kind of like partner in crime, and them, you know, getting together, like experienced thief to younger thief, kind of like teaming up and such. But then it's rolling from that introduction straight into the plot that in Uncharted 3 takes place in the present. So it's essentially meshed that shit together rather than worrying about what happened in Uncharted 1 and Uncharted 2. Which, if this movie is successful, then they can just roll off of that. And while the sequence of events will have been altered from how it was technically chronologically into the games, there isn't really anything apart from in Uncharted 4 that would roll over into the other one, other than the team finds X treasure. Like, you can insert any one of the first 3 games into any other kind of order, and the chronology would effectively still be the same. The big difference maker only being the state of Nathan Drake's relationship with the female lead.
Is that Chloe in the trailer? That's supposed to be Chloe?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
I want to think that that's the character from Uncharted Lost Legacy, whose name is not there at the moment.
Yeah, I thought it was Chloe. Hold on.
That's Chloe. Yeah, I mean, again, this is one of those properties that just doesn't feel difficult. It doesn't feel easy to fuck up because it's such a simple premise. the Uncharted series, especially from 2 and on, were built on these big, exciting set pieces, and movies can replicate that fairly simply. Like that, the airplane scene basically ripped from Uncharted 3. IGN actually did a side by side, so you could see that there's barely any difference between the two. Uh, if the success of the National Treasure movies was anything to go by, it's like you can call it Young Indiana Jones if you want to, but people flock to these kind of adventure movies, and I'm hoping that it's going to be good. Uh, like I hope every video game movie is going to be good. The issue is whether or not they can take inspiration from the video game and create their own story, or are they going to try and adapt an entire game that has like a 12-hour plot into a 2-hour movie? It's not going to work. It never freaking works. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's kind of a crime that Sully doesn't have a mustache, but I don't think a mustache would work on Mark Wahlberg all that well.
Either way.
No, but can we quickly discuss the slander though that the movie's getting? It's one thing to be cautious when you're looking at a video game adaptation because we have so much evidence of how it never works out. But you got people saying that the movie looks worse than the game on the PlayStation 3. It's like, come on, guys.
You are so wrong.
That's just unfucking called for. There's a lot of people that worked on this movie. No way. Like Sony's budget. You're telling me that they like this movie is probably going to have not just that airplane scene. This movie is probably going to have several Mission Impossible level stunt moments. That's the Uncharted franchise.
First of all, these guys are giving shit for this movie, nigga. Go check out Resident Evil trailer. You tell me which one looks better. Okay, I don't want to hear Uncharted 3 looks better than the movie. No. All the Resident Evil games, even including the old PlayStation 1 with the bad voice acting, looks better than this trailer they put out. And it's bad enough they have like a featurette now where they're doing the comparison to the game and how they're trying to defend this movie. I don't care what what the movie looks like. You can put the RPD matching, you can throw the characters, you can throw the villains in there. If it don't look good, it don't look good. I'm sorry. I have low expectations for that.
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
If that line's not in the movie, nah, they better not put that in the movie. Anyway, I'm done talking about Resident because I feel like when we're doing that review, we're doing that review.
I don't foresee it being a scary movie.
I'm gonna bring Skylar back into the mix because she's a big Resident Evil fan, and we're doing a review for that movie. So yeah, what else is there to talk about? What were we talking about?
Honorable mention in the podcast. Well, I was going to say honorable mention to the podcast would be the Nintendo online price hike, and whether or not it's worth it.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you. All right, we're gonna make this short and sweet. It's short, but what is it? What is the price now? I think what $59.99 for online. I can't remember.
It is for a year. Nintendo Switch Online, it's $49.99.
Okay. No.
For the Nintendo Switch Online plus the expansion pack.
So yeah, that's a big no. Only because, I'm excited for the Nintendo games, Sega Genesis game. Granted, the Sega Genesis games, if you haven't played the Master Collection they got on PC, PlayStation 4, and all that, Xbox, I don't see the worth in getting the Genesis portion. But the 64 games, yeah, that's cool. But the thing about Nintendo's service, it's not that great. Even playing online on Smash Brothers, it's choppy as hell. It's even with my connection. Granted, it's shit. But even like if I'm sitting right next to another person's Switch and trying to play with them, and they're having the same problems I am, something's not right here. And the fact that the cost for this service doesn't I don't see the value because with the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo, games they had put out, they weren't chucking those games out every month unless they're going to start doing that for the 64 games. And I don't see that many 64 games they're going to put out. Granted, They still don't have wave race up there. They don't have 1080. And I highly doubt you're going to see Conker's Bad Fur Day up there. It's not going to be up there, so don't have your hopes up for that.
This is just another example of um, Nintendo's not playing by the same rules that we were getting out of Microsoft and Sony. They can do what they want, and you either like their content due to nostalgia and are going to pay full freaking price for it, or whatever. They don't have to compete with Sony and Microsoft. Just think of the difference. Like the money you pay for a year of Nintendo Online gets you old Nintendo 64 games, where on the Xbox and Sony consoles, you're getting games that are like maybe 8 months old.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting newer titles. You're getting multiples. You're getting a price cut on and special sales strictly for you. You ain't getting any of that stuff with Nintendo. They ain't got to.
I'm about to say, shit, when's the last time, like, me buying a Nintendo game and it being half the price? Like, you never see that.
Never.
You never see.
Never.
Like, yeah, you might see $10 off. That's about it. But Nintendo, they want that money, man.
They got. I mean, they have for all the talk of how exclusives are bad for the consumer, and that Sony needs to stop buying up all these companies so they have all these exclusives and whatnot. It's like, oh, where's that same energy for Nintendo for the past like 20 years? Nonetheless, sticking to a bit of game news real quick. CD Projekt Red just announced that they've delayed the next-gen version of Cyberpunk 2077, along with the HD remaster of The Witcher 3 to 2022. And yeah, that should be your energy. If that is not your energy, you're the fucking problem. The same people that were pissed off about the state of Cyberpunk 2077 when it was released need to remember that you wanted them to take more time. Now they are taking more time. Support them in that.
Yeah, because at this point, like, even with the last updates, I haven't been back to Cyberpunk. As much as I want to play that game again, I'm like, do I really want to do all that grinding for all that stuff to get everything? Not really.
I still don't want my first impression of this game that I was so looking forward to be marred by technical difficulties or lack of content or anything of that sort. I still remember. Granted, I did not get that far. How the game would inundate you with all this random shit and not allow you to focus on anything at any point in time. I don't want to go any further than that. I'll wait until they put it out and they're confident that that it's up to snuff or up to the reputation that we once held them to.
Yeah, so
like,
I mean,
real quick, CD Projekt Red went from the new BioWare to current BioWare in people's minds. It's like, well, now we have the opportunity to give them the chance. Now we have the opportunity to give them the chance to show that they can actually do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's nothing much in that game I want to do. Like, there's still no, like, I'm not looking for multiplayer in there, but there's, like, I played the story, had my ending, and that was it.
I want to replay The Witcher.
Still need.
I want to replay The Witcher, make it all pretty.
Still need to play The Witcher. Well, I have to wait. I have it on my computer, but it's like, when am I playing PC games? Or am I? Am I playing PC games? No.
All right. I mean, that was basically a bit of the news that we wanted to cover. But let's go ahead and dip into what we've been playing. What we've been watching. Like, what's been going on since the last time we spoke. Let's start with you, man.
As we talking about Nintendo, I been kind of rough year for my Nintendo Switch, not getting love. I used to play Fortnite all the time up there, and now it's like I got it on my PS5. And it's like, you don't love me no more. So I was like, you know what? I need to buy a Switch game. So I bought this little bad boy right here.
Ooh, is it as difficult as everyone has said it is?
All right. Let me break this down to you, okay? me, Metroid person, I have only played only 2 of them, well, 3 including Dread, Fusion and Prime. Those are the only ones I had played before going into this one.
That makes it sound like you only played 2 games. You did play 3 Prime games.
I only played 1 Prime game, the first Prime.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I only
I thought you played.
Yeah, I only played the first Prime game. I didn't play the other 2. Because granted, like, yeah, Nintendo was my console growing up, but after a while, PlayStation started to cover in. So, is it hard, as everybody's saying it is? Yes and no. It is hard because it doesn't give you directions where to go.
Ha! Welcome to my experience in Super Metroid, the only Metroid game I played on a Super Nintendo. Got lost for hours.
Yeah, because like if you're a brand new person playing this game and not know the whole Metroid formula of you gotta just explore and find out where to go, you're gonna get lost like I did and be fucking frustrated and pull up a guide. Yes, I had to use a guide for this game, and I'm ashamed.
Oh,
I was like, yo, and it was like so simple. Like I'm backtracking. I've like literally gone through this area for hours. I was like, where do I go? Do I need to find this power up that I'm missing? And I'm like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go to the guy, and the guy tells me, oh, there's a piece of the floor you have to shoot out, but there's no indication to tell me to shoot out the floor. It's like, it's not like it's shiny or anything like that. So I'm like, are you serious? So I had to look at the guy like maybe twice to figure out where to go. Because you backtrack, and if you don't know where you're going, you will get lost for hours. Because the map is like,
maybe when you're running over that bit of the floor, you could see a bit under it as if there was a space. You know,
it doesn't show up on the map either unless you know. Like, granted, the game does tell you in the beginning, it's like if you're stuck, shoot around. But the way the level looked, the way the area looked, it looked like it was just part of the level. So, granted, yeah, that's the difficult part of the game. You gotta really explore. Not saying it's a bad thing, but it'll be scratching your head like, where the fuck do I go? And and it's the areas are pretty big. So, going around, going backtracking, and then granted, we take for granted how the SSD for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox are so fast, and then coming back to the Switch and doing the elevator sequences through Metroid, and they take a little bit long. I'm like, and especially after you die, which you will die a lot of times, because you got these not like Fusion's Samus X Parasite chasing you. They got they got these Emmys, and they're not as bad as that. But like, there's a counter in the game now where you can kick them off, but the timing for those are so random. It's like 1 second, it could be like 2 seconds, 1 second, like a millisecond. I'm like, yo, I cannot counter that fast. My reaction time is not that great. Like, you see it flash and you just hit it right then and there. It's like you have to hit it as soon as it goes off. But
channel that Onimusha energy, you know?
No, this is way different than Onimusha. Onimusha, I can kill him in one hit. But I enjoyed the game. I beat it last night. In fact, I was up all night playing it. I was like, oh, I feel I'm about to beat this game. So I got to the final boss, and the final boss, like, I kept hearing everybody talk about this final boss. I'm like, and this is gonna be easy. Like, the first, and it's one of those boss fights. There's multiple fucking parts. I'm like, motherfuckers. So, like, I beat the first form. I'm like, okay. Beat the second form. I'm like, yeah. Third form. I'm like, y'all didn't give me enough missiles. So I mean, granted, I had enough. Like, I think in my inventory I had like 140 missiles. But and the funny thing is, the final boss, when he attacks you, it doesn't take that much health away from you. It was the other guys before you fight him that was like, he hit me like one time and it takes 3 bars of health. I'm like, how am I supposed to fight this dude? Like, I was like, you know what? it's a game you have to have patience, and because at some points it's going to get more like you fight one boss enemy or like a sub boss, and it's just one of them. Then you got to fight two of them at the same time, and I was at the point of the game. I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to do this shit? Like the game was really pissing me off. I was like, how the hell am I going to get past this part? I was like, you know what? Let me start using the abilities that they were giving me throughout the whole goddamn game.
I use my tools.
But like, because I'm just always hitting people with rockets. Like at the end, like the final boss fight, like there's like the scene where like it's you learn the pattern and then you can start doing more stuff for the final boss. Like I was shooting the final boss with rockets, and then I come to find out I could have just shot with the regular beam. Like could have saved some rocket ammo near the end game, but regardless, I still beat the game. It was a blast. Is it my game of the year? Maybe. It's up there.
I like a beer to do that.
It's a good game, but very challenging.
Okay, all right. Well, it's funny you should mention dusting off your Switch. I also had to dust off my Switch, plug it up for a while, just so I could finally dip back into my village and let all my villagers know that I'm not dead.
Oh God!
I'm so really proud of. I'm so proud of my island, though.
For viewers to know what game he's talking about, he's talking about Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. Well, because like I'm looking at that, like the free DLC that's coming out in November, and it's like mostly what they're adding is that they're adding a cafe where you can meet up with your villagers and have these like quaint little moments, but you also have the opportunity to help grow and design a kind of like bazaar, like on that same island that you would do like the photo shoots if you ever got that far.
I just
where basically like all the seasonal shops would be there, and along with some new stuff. I mean, it still looks interesting. It's like I remember I stepped away from the game because I got tired of waiting for an announcement of actual content coming out as opposed to just seasonal bits and like a change of bugs to go along with the season. They're gonna be adding cooking with that update, so I mean, it's something to dip my toes back into. I basically feel like
I don't want to do it in a game.
I basically feel like I'm done because I'm very happy with the way my island is, and if I can't put any new like buildings, like sadly the cafe is just gonna be attached to the museum, so it's not gonna take up any additional space on your island. Then I mean, it's something to dip my toes back into. But that's not what I've been playing.
What would you been playing?
Well, you got the Demon Slayer fighting game that just recently came out.
Don't tell me about that.
I did buy that because I have a collection of people up here in Maryland that want to play that fighting game. Thing is that like I tend to avoid buying fighting games. Not that I don't have fun playing fighting games, but they tend to sit on my shelf because I don't have an interest in playing the game by myself. I more enjoy getting better at the game by playing the fighting game against my friends. So very quickly, I lose interest and they sit on the wayside. Other than that, I've been trying to get through Life is Strange 3. That makes it sound like I'm not enjoying it.
Look, viewers, I'm gonna apologize right now. We've been trying to do this Life is Strange True Colors review. I got the layout and everything. Sean just don't want to play this game. He just doesn't want to finish. He's on what chapter are you on?
4.
You got one more. Got one more chapter to go. One more chapter.
I have to finish 4, and then I have to do 5.
This weekend, just go through it, and then we can have this Life is Strange review because we're gonna have different endings.
Well, what if I'm playing Genshin Impact or Final Fantasy XIV, the critically acclaimed MMORPG that's now the most successful Final Fantasy game in the franchise?
Get the fuck off those games. Like, I was worried when we did this segment. I was like, if he says Final Fantasy 14 one more goddamn time, I'm gonna just cut this whole segment off completely.
Hey, you can't blame me. The expansion is coming out in a month. Okay?
Play the expansion in a month, not tomorrow or not today.
I'm getting to the point where I'm feeling like I need to pay you to play the game your goddamn self, because it's mostly a single player game.
Which I just canceled my subscription for, and sorry.
Because your ass kept forgetting to fucking play the damn game.
Exactly. Why am I gonna pay for something I don't play?
If only there was a solution that involved you playing the game. None.
I can play Fortnite for free.
Is it really free? Is it really free?
Yes, it's really free. You're just playing for cosmetics, which I pay for.
Or paying for cosmetics.
I pay for it.
That's what I'm fucking saying. Don't you fucking lie. Hey, free. I play fucking phone games. I know microtransactions, how to get to you. Don't fucking around. But the other thing that I'm trying to work on, and again, part of it, like, it's just been part of it has just been trying to pull myself into, like, anytime something feels like something I have to do, then it becomes harder to motivate myself to jump into it. Once I've started, then it's going good. But to transition away from what I'm playing to what I'm watching, Roy would like me to get into Squid Game.
No. Let's stop you right there. I don't want you to get into Squid Game. My girlfriend wants you to get into Squid Game. She wants to see our review for Squid Games.
Okay.
Game,
well, I mean, I just first impressions. Because I watched the first episode. I watched the first episode. It was hard to watch it.
All right, now how were you watching it?
Subbed.
All right, so you got the Korean voice acting?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Got the Korean voice acting, and it's mostly just like this main character is a piece of shit. He's supposed to be a piece of shit. He's supposed to be a piece of shit. It's just hard to want to watch a piece of shit.
But you got the other guys, the other characters.
They're not introduced until the last, like, 20 minutes of the episode, though. Last 15 minutes of the episode. And the last 15 minutes is, of course, exciting. But if someone were to play me this first episode and say, "Want to watch the next one?" Or it's like, "So what'd you think?" Like, it took me 2 days to watch this one episode.
Ooh. Nah, man.
I started it, and I was like, now granted, I'll give you a caveat. It was late, and as I started watching it, and it wasn't grabbing me initially, the thought came to mind, it's like, I gotta work tomorrow. I can't stay up this late to watch this. Now, you know as well as I do, if it was interesting from the jump, even just a little bit interesting from the jump, I would have been up until 2 o'clock in the morning like I was last night.
Okay.
But
okay, go ahead, go pay it finish, and then I'll put my input on that.
Well, no. What's funny, going into it, I'd seen people already comment that there are multiple anime that have this premise, and I've actually seen at least one of them. So it didn't feel like as shocking of a premise to me. It's just that this show feels like the current Tiger King, and I didn't have an interest in seeing Tiger King then. So if it wasn't for you and your girlfriend, I probably would ignore Squid Game as well. But if enough, I feel like I'm getting into my my kid brain where, like, I have a Nintendo 64 and everybody else is on PlayStation, and I'm just like, I'm sucking on some copium, talking about how I don't need no PlayStation because Nintendo 64 is the best console in existence. So there's so many people that like this show. I gotta keep watching it. I'll tell you what. Fucking social media already spoiled a character death for me.
Get the fuck off of social media. Already granted, you're gonna get spoiled regardless. It's probably TikTok, won't it?
It was TikTok.
You son of a bitch.
The title of the TikTok was fictional character deaths I'll never get over part 3.
Get
It
on.
was only the one character, and it's like, God damn it! I literally just finished the first episode.
You already spoiled yourself. Well, granted, let me
Not intentionally. Not intentionally.
Let me go ahead and tell you. Yeah, the first episode, like the first couple minutes, yeah, little snooze fest, and then until they actually get into the game, you're kind of like, okay, yeah, it's starting to have some little action here. Second episode, that one was more character development episode. Then when we finally go to episode 3, that's when it starts to hook you in. You're like, okay, yeah.
You need you need that kind of like that descent that you had the build up to that first episode. The quick descent was the actual game. We need to build that back up again. You can't just roll from that right into the next one. It would feel disjointed, and you wouldn't be able to like. They need to establish connections so that they can rip those connections from us and make it as painful as possible. But that one dude was the MVP. That's for sure. Not to mention Master Roshi, just strolling his slow ass. Real quick before we close this out, I want to put out a little PSA. We're gearing up towards the next big MCU movie, The Eternals, and I'm not sure if anybody who's watching this has heard. I've been trying to let everybody that I know.
I already know.
The premiere just happened. Yep. The premiere just happened, and one of the major media organizations, a reporter there who went to the premiere, wrote up an article about their opinion, their impressions of the sequel or of the movie, and spoiled the movie in the title of the article. It somehow got past their editors and was posted online, and assholes on social media are spreading it like wildfire. I have not seen it. I don't know the company, because thankfully I've heard this from content creators that are doing their best to try and squash it and just make people aware. So the recommendation is do not Google The Eternals. Google will ruin it for you. If you're trying to get tickets, then go directly on apps in order to purchase them, like Fandango and whatnot. That's where I always buy my tickets anyway.
Or you can go. Wait, something went wrong.
To the Alamo.
To the Alamo, man. Even though my app's currently crashed right now.
From what I've been told from people who did not spoil anything, this is going to be a slower paced, dramatic, thinking kind of MCU movie. It's still going to have action like we expect, but it's very story rich. It's not going to be one you want to go to the bathroom on. So don't take a drink in there. But nonetheless,
don't be like me watching Spider-Man 2 and having to pee at the very beginning. You know how long Spider-Man 2 was? Like 2 hours. 2 hours trying to hold a piss because the movie was that good.
Oh man, shit. Which movie was it? Was it Endgame? I think I heard of people getting bladder infections because they tried to hold, like they had to pee at the beginning of the movie, but then decided
you
to
weren't
hold
making
it.
Look, I couldn't do it for Endgame. If that was the case, I'd just be like, well, I'm just gonna have to piss myself here. This movie's great.
But I don't want to jump away before we get to anything that you're possibly watching. Anything you've been hitting up?
I actually started watching the Batman, the Long Halloween.
Well, oh yeah. Did you get through the first one? I still finished part 2.
I was watching it, and then it was late at night, and I was just like, this looks pretty good. It looks pretty dark, like how I like my Batman to be. So I had to put it to the side. I was like, let me watch this later.
Just remember, this is a version of Batman who's only just really started going. Like, this is still a very early generation Batman that's being portrayed in this movie.
So yeah,
I hope you like it.
I mean, I'm liking it. I'm liking it because it's. I like the soundtrack because the soundtrack's pretty dark. I'm like, ooh, like the opening credits and everything. I was like, yeah, this looks pretty badass. So I'm gonna finish watching that tonight, and then probably after that, I'm gonna check out Doom because that's up on HBO Max right now.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I'm like, it's not a movie I'm interested in, but you know, it's in Fortnite. It's the guy from Fortnite.
It's well, I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm particularly interested in it. I definitely am not going to read the book because I've heard that the book
Ain't got time to
is
read.
very hard. I hear the book is very hard to read, and by read I mean audiobooks because I drive all day. But nonetheless, I still want to see it because it's like one of those like cemented franchises in the zeitgeist of like nerd culture. Whether it's the fan base for like the original movie or just people that are really hyped up about the book itself. Uh, so it's kind of surprising that they didn't try to market this as a part one because it is a movie broken into two parts. So we'll see how it goes. Nonetheless, all right. Well, if you got this far with us, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know when we're busting out some new content. You know, if I could string a sentence. And we'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Peace.
Deuces.